The annual Williams family dinner, an event I'd dreaded for the past 5 years. Every year, the same mahogany dining table, the same judgmental stares, and the same question: when are you going to get a real job, Emily? I adjusted my simple black dress as I walked into Morton's Steakhouse's private dining room. Dad had been having his success dinners here for 20 years, ever since he became Senior VP at Global Dynamics Corporation. The maitre d' nodded in recognition, not because I was William Williams' daughter, but because I owned the restaurant chain. Not that my family knew that detail yet. "Emily, darling." Mom's voice carried that familiar note of forced cheerfulness. "We were just discussing Jennifer's promotion." Of course they were. My younger sister Jennifer, the golden child who followed Dad's footsteps into Global Dynamics. She sat there preening in her designer suit, engagement ring catching the light, everything about her screaming corporate success. "Sorry I'm late," I said, taking my seat. "Business meeting ran long." Dad scoffed. "Business meeting? Is that what you call those little internet projects of yours now?" The waiter approached with wine and I noticed his slight smile. He knew who I was, the owner of not just Morton's but half the luxury restaurant groups in the country. Another detail my family would discover soon enough. "Actually, Dad, I was in a board meeting." "Board meeting?" Jennifer laughed. "For what?" "Your online startup." Mom jumped in, ever the peacekeeper. "Now, Jennifer, I'm sure Emily's projects are very interesting. Though, darling," she turned to me, "Mrs. Henderson's daughter is hiring at her law firm if you'd like a real career opportunity." I took a slow sip of wine, a vintage from my own vineyard in Napa. "I'm good, Mom." "Good." Dad's voice rose slightly. "You're 32 years old, living in that small apartment, driving a basic car. That's not good, that's settling." If only they knew that small apartment was actually the entire top floor of the building. And that basic car was a custom-made electric vehicle from my own automotive company. William, my father's colleague James Porter, joined us. "Did you hear about the big announcement tomorrow? Rumor has it we're getting a new CEO." Dad straightened his tie. "About time. Ever since old man Phillips retired, the board's been dragging their feet. I've been running my division practically solo." "Any idea who it might be?" James asked. "Has to be internal," Dad declared confidently. "I'm actually meeting with the board tomorrow. 15 years as Senior VP, it's about time they recognized my contributions." Jennifer beamed. "Does this mean you're up for CEO, Daddy?" "Well, nothing's certain, but..." He puffed up slightly. "Let's just say I've been preparing for this opportunity." The waiter returned with appetizers. "Compliments of the house," he said, giving me a knowing look. "How thoughtful," Mom smiled. "William must be a very valued customer." "Actually," the waiter began, but I caught his eye and shook my head slightly. "Not yet." Dad turned back to me. "See, Emily? This is what success looks like. Your sister's climbing the corporate ladder, I'm up for CEO, and what are you doing? Playing with computers." I checked my phone, 3 messages from my executive team. The press release was ready. The board votes were confirmed. Everything was in place. "I'm running a company, Dad." "Ha." He actually laughed. "That little website business of yours? That's not a real company. Global Dynamics. That's a real company. 100 billion in revenue, offices worldwide, that's success." Jennifer chimed in. "Daddy's right. It's time to grow up. I could probably get you an entry-level position in my department." "That's very kind of you," I replied, my voice steady. "But I'm good where I am." "Where you are," Dad's voice dripped with disappointment, "is nowhere. Can't even get a real job. Your sister's getting married to a senior executive about to make VP herself, and you're what? A wannabe entrepreneur." Just then his phone rang. He glanced at it, the board's number. "Excuse me, this is important," he said, standing. "Yes, this is William Williams." "Sir, the new CEO wants to..." "Oh, but it's my family dinner." "Yes, sir, I understand." The color drained from his face as he listened. "Emily," he said slowly, lowering the phone. "Why is the board asking me to report to conference room A right now? To meet you?" I stood up, smoothing my dress. "Because, Dad, that little website business of mine? It's called Phoenix Technologies. We just acquired Global Dynamics. The board voted an hour ago." The silence that fell over the table was absolute. Jennifer's fork clattered against her plate. Mom's wine glass froze halfway to her lips. That's impossible, Dad whispered. Phoenix Technologies is a multi-billion-dollar tech conglomerate. They're the ones who've been buying up companies worldwide. They're mine, I finished for him. I founded it 6 years ago, right after you told me I was wasting my time with computer games. We're worth $218 billion now. And yes, we just bought Global Dynamics. The press release goes out at midnight. The waiter reappeared, this time with a different demeanor. Ms. Williams, your executive team has arrived. They're waiting in the private lounge. James Porter had gone pale. You're the Phoenix CEO? The one they call the Shadow Queen, because no one knows who owns the company. Was a secret, I corrected. Until now. Dad's phone was still in his hand, board members waiting on the line. His dreams of becoming CEO had just shattered, because his useless daughter already owned the entire company. But this was just the beginning. The real shock would come when they learned exactly what else I owned. The private lounge at Morton's had transformed into an impromptu board meeting. Through the glass walls, I could see my family still sitting at the dining table, shell-shocked. Jennifer hadn't touched her $200 Wagyu steak, a cut I'd personally added to the menu last year. Ms. Williams, my CFO Michael, approached with a tablet. The acquisition documents are ready. Would you like your father to sign them now or at the office tomorrow? Dad, who had been summoned to the lounge, stared at the papers in disbelief. These show Phoenix owns 87% of Global Dynamics. Actually, I swiped through the tablet. We own 100% as of 10 minutes ago. The remaining shares were just purchased through subsidiary companies. I turned to Michael. How's the stock responding? Up 47% on rumors of the acquisition. Tomorrow's announcement should push it past 80%. Jennifer had followed us into the lounge, her designer heels clicking on marble floors I'd had installed during last month's renovation. But you live in that tiny apartment. You mean the penthouse? I smiled. The one that takes up the top 3 floors of the Williams Tower. I paused, enjoying her confusion. Oh right, you probably didn't know I bought that building too. Along with most of the downtown real estate portfolio. Mom appeared at the door, her perfect composure cracking. Emily, darling, why didn't you tell us? Tell you. I pulled up a video on the lounge's wall screens. Like when I tried to tell you about my first company at Christmas 4 years ago. Let's watch that moment again. The security footage played clearly our family Christmas dinner, where I'd attempted to share my success. Dad's dismissive laugh. Mom's patronizing smile. Jennifer's snide remarks about playing businesswoman. That company? I pointed to the screen. It sold for $4.2 billion 6 months later. But you were all too busy discussing Jennifer's promotion to junior manager to notice. Dad sank into a leather chair, his face ashen. The board meeting tomorrow has been moved up to right now, I confirmed. Global Dynamics is being restructured, starting with senior management. Jennifer stepped forward, her confidence returning slightly. Surely you won't fire your own father. No, I agreed. Dad keeps his job, but not his title. I turned to my father. You'll be reporting to Division Manager Chong starting Monday. Your office is being relocated to the 3rd floor. The 3rd. He couldn't even finish the sentence. He was losing his corner office on the 50th floor, the office he'd bragged about for 15 years. Don't worry, Dad. Your salary remains the same. Consider it daughter's privilege. The screens switched to live feeds from Global Dynamics offices worldwide, all now part of Phoenix's empire. My empire. Ms. Williams, another executive, entered. The Gates Foundation is on the line about the AI healthcare initiative. Bill Gates. Jennifer squeaked. No, I replied, echoing her years of condescension. Melinda. We're collaborating on revolutionizing global healthcare access. I took the call on speaker. Melinda, yes, everything's proceeding as planned. The neural interface trials were successful. Yes, I can fly to Seattle tomorrow. Mom clutched her pearls, the fake ones she wore to impress her social circle. You know Melinda Gates? Know her? Emily's her daughter's godmother, Michael commented, not looking up from his tablet. The tech world's most powerful women all vacation together at Ms. Williams' private island. Private island? Dad's voice was barely a whisper. The one you mocked as a waste of money when I mentioned buying it last year. I reminded him. That you probably thought I was joking. Just like you thought my little computer games were a joke. The waiter appeared again. Ms. Williams, the Prime Minister's office is calling about the quantum computing facility. Jennifer's fiancé, a mid-level executive at Global Dynamics, had finally joined us, his face pale. Quantum computing? But that's classified government. Welcome to Phoenix Technologies, I cut him off. Where those little internet projects Dad mocked are actually revolutionizing global technology. Speaking of, I turned to Michael. How's our space division performing? The lunar base construction is ahead of schedule. NASA wants to move up the Mars colony timeline. Dad's legs gave out completely and he slumped deeper into the chair. His daughter, the one he'd dismissed as useless, was building colonies on Mars. But the real shock was still to come. Because tomorrow's press release wouldn't just announce Phoenix's acquisition of Global Dynamics. It would reveal everything else I owned, including, Sir, the waiter addressed my father. Will you be keeping your standing dinner reservation here at Morton's? Of course, Dad replied automatically. I've been coming here for 20 years. You'll need to check with the owner, the waiter smiled. Though I'm sure Ms. Williams will let you keep your table. And that's when it finally hit him, his favorite restaurant, his standing reservation, his special table. All belonged to his useless daughter. The night wasn't over yet. As if orchestrated by fate, the private lounge's TV automatically tuned to the evening news. The headlines scrolling across the bottom made my family freeze. Breaking. Phoenix Technologies CEO identity revealed, Emily Williams, 32, named world's youngest female trillionaire. Trillionaire? Jennifer stammered, her engagement ring suddenly looking very small. The official announcement wasn't supposed to be until midnight, I sighed, looking at Michael. Forbes jumped the gun, he apologized. They're running a special edition. You're on the cover. The magazine was already being displayed on every screen in the lounge. There I was, photographed in my real office. A sprawling penthouse suite atop the Phoenix headquarters. The headline read, The Silent Queen, How Emily Williams Built a $1 trillion Empire While Her Family Thought She Was Failing. Your net worth, Dad said, finding his voice, is more than the GDP of most countries? Actually, Michael interjected, checking his tablet. With today's stock surge, Ms. Williams' personal worth exceeds the combined GDP of 157 nations. Mom had to sit down. But at Christmas you said you couldn't afford a new car. No, Mom. I said I didn't want a new car. The basic car I drive? It's a prototype from Phoenix's automotive division. Worth about $4.7 million. We're releasing it next year. It can fly. Fly. Jennifer's fiancé squeaked. Among other things, I smiled. That little internet project Dad mocked last Thanksgiving? It was the AI system that runs the car. The one that just got approved by every major government worldwide. My phone buzzed. The president was calling. Not the company president. The president. Yes, Madam President. The quantum defense system is online. Yes, the AI integration is complete. No, the Chinese haven't figured it out yet. Dad's face went through a series of emotions as he realized his unemployed daughter was casually discussing national security with the President of the United States. Emily, Mom tried again, her voice small. Why keep all this secret? Why let us think that I was a failure? I finished for her. Because you never asked. You never listened. When I tried to tell you about my first patent, you were too busy planning Jennifer's office shower. When I attempted to discuss my AI breakthroughs, Dad was too focused on his own promotion. The screens switched to live feeds of Phoenix facilities worldwide, quantum computing centers, AI research labs, aerospace facilities, and yes, that lunar base Michael mentioned. Ms. Williams, my assistant, entered. The Space Force General is waiting to discuss the Mars defense grid. Jennifer's wine glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. Mars defense. Oh yes, I nodded. Those computer games Dad laughed at? They're protecting our Mars colonies now. Speaking of protection, I turned to Michael. How's our military contract performing? The Pentagon just doubled the order. They're calling your AI system the biggest advancement in military technology since nuclear weapons. Dad's tie suddenly seemed too tight. My daughter, My daughter controls everything, I finished. Those government contracts you were so proud of at Global Dynamics? They're all through Phoenix now. In fact, I pulled up another document. Global Dynamics has been surviving on contracts I threw your way for the past 2 years. I was keeping you afloat until I could complete the acquisition. Mom's perfect makeup couldn't hide her shock. You were saving your father's company? While he was mocking my career choices, yes. I stood up, walking to the window overlooking the city. See that skyline? Phoenix owns 40% of those buildings. The rest. I smiled. We'll own them by next quarter. Jennifer, trying to salvage something, spoke up. But I'm still VP of Marketing. We're VP of Marketing, I corrected gently. Global Dynamics Marketing Division is being absorbed into Phoenix's operations. But don't worry, I'm not firing you. You're being reassigned. To where? She asked, fear creeping into her voice. Our Antarctic research station. I hear it's lovely this time of year. Dad finally stood up, his legs shaky. Emily. We never knew. Exactly, Dad. You never knew because you never cared to know. Every achievement, every success, every breakthrough, you were too busy with your own small victories to notice I was changing the world. The screens now showed Phoenix's stock price soaring as news of the acquisition spread. Global Dynamics, Dad's precious company, was now just a tiny subsidiary in my corporate empire. Oh, and Dad, I added, watching him flinch. That corner office you're so proud of? I'm turning it into a janitor's closet. Symbolism, you understand. The final blow came when my secretary entered with a stack of magazines: Time, Forbes, Fortune, Business Week. My face was on every cover with headlines like, "The Future is Female," "Emily Williams' $1 Trillion Revolution," and "How One Woman Secretly Built the World's Largest Company." Your father's standing reservation at Morton's, Michael reminded me. Should we keep it? I pretended to consider. Well, since I own the restaurant, and the building, and the entire restaurant group, I suppose we can let him keep his table. Family privilege. As my executive team prepared to leave, I turned to my stunned family one last time. Next family dinner will be at my place. You know, that small apartment you mocked? The one that takes up 3 floors of the city's tallest building? The building that, by the way, used to be called Global Dynamics Tower.